Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading for the week of January 5th. You have this routine card. It says daily tasks, patterns, plans, consistent, predictable, unchanging, fixed, and rigid. You have this child. It says fresh start, new beginning, phase, newness, childish, pregnancy, naive, children, inner child, childhood. Yeah. Obviously, we're right at the beginning of the year here. I'm recording this on December 30th. It'll be published on the 31st. So if you're watching this before the 1st, even before this week starts, definitely, obviously it's a great time to have a fresh start on something. I will say that this year in particular seemed to be a little bit extra on the side of like a fresh start. So, as in like all the readings have been talking about it. So, any fresh starts that you're hoping for, I would just get started now. You don't have to wait till the week of the 5th. And here you go. You have the Fool, which is a fresh start. So I would get moving. It's a great year for routines as well. And you have that routine card. And I think with the Magician here, the Magician is about reinvention, and a great way to reinvent yourself is to do what you haven't been doing and to turn it into a routine. So there you go. You start here with the Tower, the Four of Pentacles, and the Moon card. The Tower could absolutely represent some sort of Tower moment, but it's coming up in your first row. Wouldn't really worry about it. We'll see what comes up. As I always say, I like the Tower personally because the whole point of the Tower is that those people falling out of the tower have been ignoring reality and they're being brought back down to reality. So the tower, again, I always say I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's like sometimes the tower can be uncomfortable, but at the same time, it usually leads to a lot of clarity, which like, how is that a bad thing? And also it allows you to see reality for how it actually is. So you can make better decisions, so you can do things in a better way. And so again, the tower is also sometimes like, I think the tower is a choice, right? Like we have this guy, he's like jumping out head first, and this person looks like they've been pushed out of the tower. So sometimes I think the tower is the universe is like coming to us and saying, this is reality. You can choose to accept it, or I can push you out of the tower. And it's like, that is your choice here, Virgo. I get a very matter-of-fact energy on that card. And also, as a matter of fact, you have the Four of Pentacles. Sometimes I think the Four of Pentacles, and you have the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords, is, a tower moment in these situations might be necessary because the Four of Pentacles is holding on too tightly to what was. He's holding on to what he has, but he's like preventing himself from opening up to what could be in his life. And so sometimes the tower is good because it opens us up to other potentials in life or other opportunities that we're not really seeing. And it kind of breaks us away from the Four of Pentacles energy. It's like Four of Pentacles sometimes I feel is about like just, wanting to be comfortable. He is kind of like holding on to his comfort here with those Four of Pentacles. But it's like he could exceed his expectations if he wanted to. And you have the High Priestess right here. The High Priestess has no roof over her head. And the whole point of the High Priestess is that she has unlimited potential. And so really, this reading could be like pushing you towards potential. You have the Moon. The Moon is part of the Fool's journey. He has to get from here to these mountains to accomplish something. The whole point of the Moon is to like face some sort of fear, which could be reality. Again, your first row here is like really about like trying to protect yourself from a reality, maybe. And I don't know. You're going to have to answer that question, not me. And so the Moon wants us to explore the unknown sometimes. The High Priestess also sometimes wants us to explore a mystery or explore the unknown. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I feel like the Moon is encouraging you to do that. I feel like you could be having some crazy dreams here at the end of the year. The beginning, like maybe the first month as well. So like until the end of January, dreams, into crazy intuitions, things like that. Even like I had a dream the other night that I saw pelicans walking down the road, but like I woke up and I thought it was real. Like it was like, one of those things where I was like, oh, at first, when I first woke up, I was like, oh yeah, that happened to me the other day, but it didn't. And there are no pelicans where I live that I know of. I mean, it's always possible, I guess. But, what I would say here is that you might be having those moments where it's like, is that real? Is that fake? Did that really happen type of moments? And I don't know, maybe it's something that you should be thinking about, because like your dreams could be trying to tell you something. And that's definitely popping into my head with this card. And again, we're getting to the end of Neptune and Pisces. So, you're in towards the end. It's like sometimes, astrology is like stronger at the beginning and the end of the transit. And so you being the opposite of Pisces, this could definitely be hitting you hard, like the dreams, the intuitions, things like that. With the Tower, here you go. You have the Empress. Like I said, the Tower doesn't have to be bad. This could be good. The Tower moment could be leading you towards abundance. Believe it or not, the Empress is tied to the Tower. She has this waterfall behind her, and the waterfall represents chaotic force. The water is flowing behind the Emperor. It's kind of hard to see on the Emperor, but there is water behind him, and it flows down to the Empress. But the bottom of the waterfall is chaos. So, basically, what the waterfall tells us on the Empress is that there will always be chaos in life. There will always be things that are getting in the way of what we're trying to do. But the Empress, she doesn't even focus on the waterfall. She focuses on the abundance she can create. So again, who knows? Like, this could be a global Tower moment with that Tower that is happening. We will see many over the next coming years. And it's like, what are you going to focus on? The abundance that you can create, or something external? And again, I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the King of Cups. Yeah, I would definitely keep an eye on your emotions. The trick with the King of Cups is that we can't drown in our emotions. We have to come up for air. Some people say this is a fish. Some people say that it's a whale behind him. And I like, it does look like a fish because it has scales on it, but I like to say that it's a whale because I think it perfectly describes the King of Cups. He is sitting in choppy waters. He is perfectly fine. He's not worried about external situations and external influences or circumstances. He is in control of his emotions, and he knows that he can explore his emotions. There's nothing wrong with exploring your emotions, of course, but he doesn't allow his emotions to control him. And, that might be something you're dealing with this week. It is pretty interesting here, Virgo, that you have him. We have the Eight of Swords. She is standing in a very shallow pool of water, and it represents shallow emotions. It doesn't say that you are shallow. It just says that, you might not have the full picture on something that's making you emotional that could be controlling your life. We have the Temperance card, one foot in the water, 1 foot on land, right? So 1 foot in the emotional, 1 foot on the ground, in the grounded reality. So, we could even go further and say Two of Swords, she has choppy waters behind her, and, again, she's trying to make a decision, but we'll talk about that in a second. With the Moon, you have the Ten of Wands. There's something at the end of the year here, and maybe until like the end of January that, so if you're watching, I'm publishing this on December 31st. Today is the 30th, the day that I'm recording this. So if you're watching it, on the last day of the year or right at the beginning of January, there's something about it, like about overestimation. Like, I think people need to be careful for probably the first few months of the year, like overestimating how complicated something is. I think that we need to get used to the Neptune moving into Aries energy. So Neptune and Aries, I do think maybe we might come up with an idea. We might think that it's harder than it needs to be. And so I feel the Ten of Wands is saying don't do that. Go research something and figure out how hard it actually is before you make it harder mentally, right? Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have the Stars card. It says, a long journey brings rewards. You have the Seduction card. It says, passion and romance lie in wait. So definitely could be a new romantic situation for those of you that want love. Everybody has had good love stuff coming up at the end of the year and also the beginning of 2026. So, I don't know. Sure, could be love. You have the Page of Cups. You have the Hierophant. Could be a new person. The Stars card says, a long journey brings rewards. I think you need to finish the journey. You have the Temperance card, the Eight of Swords, and the Two of Swords. The Temperance card, he has to finish his journey. This right here is the path to glory, and there's this glowing crown that you could probably go and claim if you just got off on the path. As I've been saying to you all year, I think the challenge for Virgo is the South Node being in your sign. South Node in Virgo makes us think that we have to be perfect to do something. And the Temperance card, he might be trying to perfect his situation. He's trying to turn water into wine here. And maybe he thinks to himself, like, I have to do this first before I finish. But it's like, actually, no, he could just easily step off on this path and go claim his crown. So, I kind of feel like this is saying, don't allow perfection to get in the way of you accomplishing something that you could do right now, right? I always tell the story. I've worked with a lot of YouTubers, and something I've noticed with like a lot of them that I've worked with is they kind of like put these requirements before they create their big video. They'll say things like, oh, I'll do this idea when I have 1,000 subscribers, because obviously they want people to watch it. I'm like, yeah, but what if doing that video is the thing that gets you 1,000 subscribers? It's like you can't put these requirements before your success. And I kind of feel that on the Temperance card. You have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction, needing to set yourself free. Again, I do find that readings that have the Tower will frequently have the Eight of Swords. And the funny thing is that sometimes I think maybe the Eight of Swords, the solution to the Eight of Swords is also the solution to the Tower, right? She needs to realize that there is more than one way she can do what she's about to do. But she's only thinking that there's only one way that she can escape her situation, but there are many ways that she could get out of her situation. And so I think that opening up to all solutions, even if they're not perfect, even if you don't know all the details, is going to be important. I also think, I would say for the beginning of the year, probably the next couple of months at least, I would make sure that you're not drowning in emotion. I would also make sure that you have the full picture. Again, I think the one bugaboo with, having Neptune move into Aries is it's like people will just accept, like whatever's being presented to them without really looking at the evidence. And, I've been saying it all 2025 as well, that we really need to look at the evidence. I think part of Pluto and Aquarius that people forget about is that, Pluto and Aquarius is the collective, but it doesn't want us to become part of the collective mind. It wants us to have our own mind. And, to be able to do that, we have to collect evidence on things that we're believing, things that we're doing. And I think doing that will probably help you. The other thing is she has a blindfold on. We also have the Two of Swords, who also has a blindfold on. Blindfolds in the tarot represent needing to trust your intuition. And you have the High Priestess in this reading. So that's another solution that you could use, is trusting your intuition. It's like your intuition is probably guiding you, but you have to listen. Or it could be your dreams. But your dreams might be pelicans walking down the freaking street. Like, what the hell does that mean, right? Maybe you need to look it up, whatever it is that you're dreaming about, so that you can, kind of translate that into reality. I still haven't looked it up yet, so I have no freaking clue what it means. But, maybe you need to, right? The other thing about the Two of Swords is that she's thinking she only has two solutions, but really she has a third solution over here. Like, she's thinking that she can only choose this or that, and she has to follow the rules of the world that she's in. But she could kind of like enter into a new world over here, and maybe where the rules are different, or where she doesn't have to settle. And, that's definitely something I think you need to think about, Virgo. Let's see. With the Temperance card, you have the Queen of Cups. We have divine counterparts twice here, and also here. The High Priestess and the Hierophant are divine counterparts. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be attracting a divine counterpart or a really solid connection. King and Queen of Cups are very emotionally connected, so this would be a positive emotional connection. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Two of Wands that I dropped. So the Two of Wands wants you to take the lead. It also wants you to leave a comfort zone, which we kind of talked about with the Four of Pentacles over here. Two of Wands, he's afraid of like walking away from something. It's kind of funny. Let me back up and say this. It's kind of funny that I said the thing about YouTube, because, it's like I tell those people all the time that say things like that to me, that I'm like, you're not only going to have one good idea. It's like those people, they always wait because they think that it's like their best idea and that they're not going to come up with any more. I kind of feel like that's what this is saying right here. It's like, this is not your last good idea. Whatever's holding you back right now, Virgo. And I feel like you need to realize that you have many good ideas. And it's like you're not wasting anything. The thing about the Two of Wands and what I was about to say is that he is standing at the top of this castle, and he has this wand that stands on its own. So he's afraid of leaving the castle because he thinks that he basically, the universe is asking him to expand his kingdom. The universe is asking him to build something new, to explore somewhere else that he's never been before. But he's afraid of leaving this behind because he's like, I put all this work into this thing. If I leave, it's going to fall apart. But really, it's not. That's the whole point. So, really, that thing, that establishment, that thing he built is always going to be there. He just has to expand his kingdom. And I feel like that's what you're being asked to do, is to expand. With the Two of Swords, you have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, and to be more spontaneous, to be more playful. I think the universe in these first two rows is asking you to be more spontaneous. It's like, I think the key word for 2026 is variety. We have Uranus entering into Gemini. We need, Uranus and Gemini on a very Chris's crappy astrology level. It asks us to kind of like give ourselves as many inputs as we possibly can. It's a little bit confusing because obviously if you have a lot of options, that can create confusion. So we need to be good filters, right? We need to take in a lot of information. We need to filter it down to what actually works, and then we need to double down on what works, right? That is the secret sauce of 2026, and actually until like 2033 when Uranus leaves Gemini. But what I would say here is the Knight of Wands wants you to like go learn and explore things that you're interested in, collect the information, filter it down, and use it. And that, I know I made that sound very easy, and I'm not saying it is going to be easy, but that's what I would do. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have the Soul Family card. It says, prepare to meet those who share a similar frequency level as you. You have the Scorpio card. It says, the Underworld. It says, awaken your inner witch to maximize your potential and connect to the universal energies. So yes, this whole entire reading is very spiritual. We have all these like symbols that represent intuition. The blindfolds, the High Priestess, even the Hierophant can be very intuitive. King and Queen of Cups, Page of Cups, even the King of Wands is very intuitive, your last card. The King of Wands has the gift of foresight. It's like we don't think of him as intuitive, but he is. He can kind of like see the future. So I think that's going to be important. The other thing here is you being an earth sign, I do feel that the people you surround yourself with is going to be very important. So, obviously make sure you're surrounding yourself with good people. You have the Magician, the High Priestess, and the Fool. The Magician is about reinvention. Sometimes he has this snake wrapped around his waist, and the snake is the Ouroboros. It represents reinvention. And I do feel it is an amazing time for you to reinvent yourself, Virgo, to become that person that you really actually want to be in life. And all you have to do, I think I always say, like, the easiest thing to do is to adopt the habits of success, at whatever you're trying to be successful at. And, that's what I would focus on. There's a million things you can do with a magician. You can manifest literally through manifestation. You can make sure that you're using the right tool for the job, right? He has all the mastery over all the suits in the tarot in front of him. And maybe if you are stuck right now, maybe you're using the wrong tool, right? Maybe you're using your logic when you need to use your creativity, or maybe you're using your emotions when you need to be using your logic, or whatever. And so you're all different. So I don't know which one you have to use, but there's only 4 choices here, right? Experiment, try just a different energy and see what happens. And that will probably make all the difference in the world. Virgo, I think I called you Taurus. Sorry if I did. But Virgo, make sure to leave a comment down below. It really helps me out. You have the High Priestess needing to trust your intuition. So I feel that a lot of you need to use your intuition at this time to move forward. Again, especially with that North Node in Pisces, your opposite sign. You might be receiving intuitions and not realize it. Again, I think towards the end of the month, this is going to become even more stronger of an energy because Neptune is switching signs. Like whenever Neptune switches signs, we kind of work on a new aspect of our intuition, and that's part of it. So I think that maybe you don't even realize that your intuition is different. Maybe it's changed, or maybe a certain part of your intuition has become stronger. And I think the High Priestess is encouraging you to realize that. I also think that if you're looking for love, definitely could be a very spiritual connection. I like the High Priestess and the Hierophant more than the Emperor and the Empress for love, because it's like a more spiritually guided connection. And if you're looking for love, looks good. You have the Fool. I think because of the Tower that you're just going to be taking some sort of leap of faith here. it's like if you see something is crumbling in your life with the Tower, you might just be saying like, okay, I need to take this new leap of faith. I need to move it in a new direction very quickly. And I feel that would be very good for you here, Virgo, is just taking a leap of faith in a new direction. With the Magician, you have the Page of Wands. I think it's interesting as well in this reading that you start with these like watery cards in the first two rows. In the second two rows, we have these like fiery cards. So, some of you are very close, clearly, to taking action on something. The Page of Wands, he just follows his intuition or his inspirations. And I feel that can be a little messy, right, Virgo? So I feel that with the Temperance card, I think I've been saying this to you for like the past couple months, that it is time for you to be messy, to be willing to be messy, to not know what you're doing, but do it anyway type of energy. And, there you go. With the High Priestess, you have the Strength card. You could be attracting a fire sign as well. Page of Wands, Knight of Wands, King of Wands, whatever. The Strength card is about your own internal strength. And like I said earlier, I think everybody should work on this right now because we have to have our own mind. And she is controlling her inner voice. And so, definitely for the first few months, even though this is a weekly reading, it's important right now, this week and for the next few months, I would be making sure that you are making your own decisions and not allowing other people to tell you what to think or how to think or whatever. And, that might be just a good exercise for you. With the Fool, you have the Sun. Amazing. I prefer readings that go from the Moon to the Sun. I don't really like readings that go from the Sun to the Moon. So luckily, we have the Moon to the Sun. And going from the Moon to the Sun would say you're entering into a time of clarity, you're seeing things clearly, and you're getting answers. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this card. It says, luck is on your side. You also have this other card that says, look at the big picture. Yes, definitely. You need to zoom out with that High Priestess. Again, especially because of the Tower. Like I was talking about, it's like you can focus on the waterfall or the bottom of the waterfall, or you can choose to focus on what actually creates abundance and luck in your life. And the Empress is all about nurturing the right energy. So it's like, sure, there's like going to be a million billion things to worry about moving forward. But, it's like does it actually help to worry about those things? Probably not, right? Worrying never helps, really. So I think you need to there are plenty of good things that could happen. And that's what you should be focusing on with these cards. Also, in the good stuff, you have the Hierophant, the Page of Cups, and the King of Wands. Looks really good if you want love. If you already have love, it looks really good as well. So if you're in a relationship, things could be improving. I'm not saying they're bad, but, if things improve, if they're good, that's even better. So that's nice. If you want love, I always say the Hierophant, these two people are initiates, and they're on, like, the same path. So if you are looking for love, you could be attracting someone that's like, maybe they're not the same as you, but they could be on a similar path to you in life, which is nice. Also an amazing time we are in an amazing time for learning. I didn't talk about this with the High Priestess. One thing I will say about the High Priestess is she has this tapestry behind her, and we don't know what is behind that tapestry. It can represent like mysteries in your life. I always say this is a good card for peeking behind the curtain, learning anything you don't know. And again, the Hierophant is a teacher. So if there are things you don't know, learn about them and it'll make things better. You have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups can be a love offer, of course. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be an admirer coming in for you. I kind of feel like it's time for good love for Virgo. So, sure. Definitely could be a solid connection. You have the King of Wands. Definitely could be a fire sign. Could be any sign. I think you've had a fire sign off and on for a couple of years now. So, I don't know. It could be a new fire sign. King of Wands wants you to be bold, assertive, confident, wants you to really go for what you want. And like I said at the beginning of the reading, I feel working on confidence is a good thing for earth signs. With the Hierophant, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is juggling, spinning plates, doing too much. But in the good stuff, it's good. It kind of says that you probably are balancing out work and play, and that should be your focus for the entire year. Again, it's one of those years where it's like, I think we should, 2025 was a year that I said would be marked by efficiency. It's like I think we had to be efficient in 2025. 2026 is a little bit similar, but what I've been telling people to do is take like one extra step. there's a big difference between taking an extra step and burning yourself out, right? So we shouldn't be thinking like hard work, 10 of wands in your reading, right? We should be still thinking about efficiency, but just maybe taking one extra step, not two, not three, just one extra step, right? Towards your goal. And then we should also be making sure we're doing things that are fun, that fulfill us. And if you do that, you'll make a lot more progress. Here you go. With the Page of Cups, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. So if this is love, definitely could be a very solid connection. Page of Cups can be your dream, and Ten of Pentacles is a very good card for getting clear on exactly what you want your life to look like. When you are clear on what your ultimate dream life looks like, you can work backwards, right? And that's what I would do there. With the King of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is charging forward toward success. So that is amazing. You could be going from this like tower energy to actually moving forward very quickly, and which obviously would be a good thing. You have this Boot card. It says increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. Again, 2 steps. Take one step, your first step, and then take one more. But that's it, right? So definitely, yes, I would increase your efforts, but just a little bit. Don't go crazy. You have the Scales card. It says keep your life in balance. I think you are. 2 of Pentacles, in the good stuff. Obviously, if the 2 of Pentacles came up somewhere else, then that would be a different story. But in the good stuff, it looks like you are balancing things out. You have the Shield. It says you need to defend yourself. I very clearly feel for you, Virgo, that you need to protect yourself from things that you've already been through. It's like this card is saying to me, don't repeat a mistake. I feel anything that could potentially be a mistake, it'll be very obvious. Like you will know that you shouldn't do it. So, like I said earlier, listen to your intuition. You have this Scissors card. It says disappointment in some affair. I think you need to make sure you're not allowing your disappointments to prevent you from trying something again. I feel this for you. Part of me wants to blame South Node and Virgo, but basically, if you try something and it doesn't work, just try something different. Magician, right? It's like maybe one way of doing something or one tool that you're using doesn't work, but that doesn't mean it's whatever you're working on isn't going to work. It just means that way isn't going to work. So try again. You have this dog barking. It says advice from a friend. Yeah, the people you surround yourself with, I think I said on this Soul Family card, it says prepare to meet those who share a similar frequency level as you. So focusing on those like really close connections, those are the people that are going to be the most helpful. But this looks really good, Virgo. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.